I saw a lot of 75% keyboard has been introduced into the scene. Some of them is available only through Goodbye, and some of them is in stock and available, ranging from the entry level / budget friendly and all the way to the expensive board. With the prior release of the QK75 and QK60, now Qwertykeys is back with their take on the 75% layout. Along came the QK75. The QK75 is designed by a company called Qwertykeys. There's a high chance that all of you guys already know about Qwertykeys, but for those who doesn't, this is a quick rundown about Qwertykeys. Qwertykeys is a sister company of another well-known keyboard maker, the Owlstabs. The resemblance in terms of the design and the innovation of these two is uncanny, but with a little bit of twist. Qwertykeys is aimed to produce a more budget-friendly keyboard, yet not sacrificing too much on the overall performance and the quality. Meanwhile, Owlstabs is aimed to produce a keyboard towards the high-end stuff. Okay, now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The starting price for this QK75 barebone kit is around $135 during the group buy. With $135 price tag, you get all the basic stuffs included, like all other group buys keyboard. The price will gradually goes up if you added more item into the mix, and the group buy is running live as we speak. The one that you saw in this video is the spray coated pink. I don't know how to put it into words, but here it goes. The pink color is vibrant yet so smooth to look at the same time. To be honest, coming in, I would never have thought that I'll ever like this pink colorway. I'm a more monochrome kind of guy. Vibrant and contrasty color is not my strongest suits. I mean, come on, it's pink, it's not for everyone, but this time, it's an exception. Since this is the spray coat variant, you can see the sparkly and glitter effect under a certain light condition. It's kinda hard to capture this on camera, and I guess you guys have to imagine the rest. Besides this pink colorway, there are another 10 choices of color that you can choose from the anno through the spray coated color. The case design is kept to a minimal. No screw can be seen from the outside, just some clean and minimal looking board. The side profile of this board is quite straightforward. There's nothing to write home about. Besides for the sub-2 wedge profile of the top case, which can be seen from the side. The front height of this board is 8mm, which is perfect height for me. I'm assuming that typing long hours on days won't give me any wrist fatigue or whatsoever. And that's about it. Like all other QK series, you'll find this huge stainless steel weight located at the back, and this beautiful piece of steel only visible when you flip the board around. In my opinion, it would be a nice addition if the weight did show a little bit from the side or from the back. This weight also comes in 10 color options to choose from, and there's a neat looking Qwertykeys logo embedded on the weight. Now tell me what's not to like about this logo. It's subtle and it screams classy. Another unique feature of this board that differentiates from its predecessor is the PCB mount approach. According to Qwertykeys, this approach will bring you a bouncier typing feel regardless of which plate is used. And by using this mount, each of the keystroke pressure is transferred to the PCB instead of the plate. Due to that, this mount approach has enabled the plateless option even for a hot swap. Although it is not recommended to use the plateless configuration with hot swap, I think it is safe enough to use it without having your switch popping out from the PCB. And a spoiler alert, this plateless configuration has turned out to be my most preferred configuration for this keyboard. We'll talk about that later in this video. Enough of the specs and whatnot, let's hear how it sounds like. Because I know there's a high chances of you coming here just wants to hear how the keyboard sounds like. Yes, that's more like it. I really like the decision of Qwertykeys to include the additional internal weight this time around. It does help to improve the sound here, and it's an improvement over its predecessor, since both the QK60 and QK75 doesn't have this internal weight. Another point I think worth to take note is, I've noticed that this board doesn't sound hollow at all, even with no case foam configuration, and this is impressive. The tape on the flat scut did brings a huge impact to the overall sounding of the board. It completely changed the thin sound profile of this board to a more natural sounding, I guess. As I said earlier in this video, the plateless configuration is my favorite config for this board. The raw sound of the keyboard and the switch is just... I did edit the plate form in the mix just to reduce any possible key chatter from the switches. And now that you have heard on how does it sounds like, tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Which one do you guys like the most? Or is there a better configuration that I should try? Just leave it all down below. The typing feel is okay, I guess. The flex is there, but it is nothing to brag about. This has got something to do with the design of the case and the new cylinder gasket. The gasket is quite stiff to begin with, and the bottom of the case has a little to no room at all for the board to rock back and forth, except for the bouncing on the case itself. I'm not an expert or a certified engineer, but I think this approach still needs a little bit of honing to do. Don't get me wrong, it's not a big issue by any means, it's just something worth to note beforehand. On a side note, the flex of this board did improve a lot if you opt for the plateless configuration. Qwertykeys never fail to amaze me with each release of their board. From the typing test video, we know that this QK75 are able to achieve a different sounding with each different configuration, and I think I've seen a pattern here. In my opinion, each board that have been released by Qwertykeys so far, they all tend to fill a certain need for certain user. Take a look at the QK60 for example. The overall design is more towards a fun keyboard. It's a solid evidence when you look at the size, the layout of the board, and especially the color option for the case. On the other side, the QK65 design is emphasized more towards the sounding of the board. And as for the QK75, it's when you mix QK60 and QK65 together, a mix between the customization of the board and the sound. I would say this QK75 is a more mature overall design when compared to the QK60 and the QK65. I may be wrong here and talking nonsense, so take it with a grain of salt. Overall, the QK75 is worth the price. The design, the feel, the sound is a banger. Plus the different customization which can be done onto this board, what more could you ask for a sub $200 board? The PCB mount approach is another point worth taking, and I think this is a perfect way to deviate from those traditional gasket mount which flooded our market today. If you are in the market for a 75 custom mechanical keyboard and you don't want to splurge everything on the board alone, this QK75 is something worth to take a look at. I know that $135 is not cheap to some, but for all the feature it offers, I guess there's no way around it. Plus, there are literally no offering like this when I first started this hobby. You may consider yourself lucky, I guess. With this QK75, we did see several changes done onto the design of the board. Now I started to wonder what's the next release of Qwertykeys keyboards gonna be. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to Revolt Keyboards for sponsoring this video. And they are the vendor for Malaysia and Brunei for this QK75 group buy. Just head on to the website to learn more. And that's it for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I love you guys. See you in the next one.